Welcome, fellow rivalers, to Volume Zero of Lore for Marvel Rivals. Now, most of the content you're going to see is not mine. I want to give a big shout out to Apricotamon. I was scouring the universe, watching YouTube videos, and I was getting all kinds of different kind of information, from good information to misinformation to wrong information to half information to just no information at all. This guy single-handedly put everything in perspective, how the time frame works, because we all know with how the season of Marvel Rivals, the lore is kind of not as chronological. You have to pay attention to all kinds of different things, and this guy has put it into a very nice perspective. Now, I will be adding to some of it, but most of it is going to be generalized and summaried from Mr. Apricotamon. Now, as we know, we are now in season 1, which revolves around Eternal Darkness over New York, with Dracula as our first main bad guy. Now, there are, as of stated by Mr. Fantastic, if you guys have paid attention and were listening, there are 4 realities, which are where the main battlefronts are happening. So each one has their main, battlefront that is happening between two opposing sides. There's supposed to be 4 of them that have Mr. Fantastic has been stated. And one, which is the modern day, which would be the 2044 or 2024, starting from when Marvel Rivals was released, you have, which is the season 1 of what we are in now, which is the Eternal Darkness. This follows Cloak and Dagger, Hawkeye, Hela, Hulk, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Loki, Luna Snow, Namor, Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Thor, and Winter Soldier. In the other reality, which is where the second Doom comes from, which is the 2099, you have Black Widow, Captain America, Magneto through time travel, Storm through time travel, Penny Parker, Punisher, and Wolverine through time travel. You will end up actually I'll explain how the time traveler works with them and why they're in this universe now. We'll touch more on that later. Another reality or battlefront that they have is known as the Nopocalypse. And there you have Adam Warlock, Black Panther and the Wakandan, Groot, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Venom, and Magic. Now, I'm explain it later on, but Magic is technically part of 2 different realities. As we know, she's able to go through limbo, and that allows her to cross over to different realities. And then you have people they're not really stated where they came from. They're just there. We don't know exactly what part of the timeline is. If you guys have figured it out and you can explain it a little bit better, please leave a comment. And if I do mess up or misinformation of where this is coming from, do leave a comment. We're trying to help the whole community out, so we all have a place to know where do we go for our information and what this lore is going on about. These people include Iron Fist, Jeff, Mantis, Psylocke, and Scarlet Witch. Now, I mentioned before, they're unknown. They're not part of any of the 4 main realities or battlefronts. They're kind of just added in. They come from extras to be placed into these. Like I said, Mr. Fantastic has stated that there are 4 realities. We don't know, haven't really got much of where the 4th reality is. My speculation is that's where the gods and the demons are fighting. But, as of right now, there's not really much of what's going on. So to start it off, we are going to go to Mr. Apricotamon and show you his lore summary for season 0, but I call it episode 0. So right now is known as the pre-entanglement. So the main thing that is happening is you have two Dooms. You have the modern day Doom, and then you have the 2099 Doom. And they both were trying to take over their worlds by using a time thing. They messed up, and it caused the what is known as the time stream entanglement. So right now you have Doctor Doom barges into the Sanctum Sanctorum, tells Doctor Strange that he thinks the secret is controlling time is vampire magic. Then demands he hand over Darkhold so he can do vampire research. Strange and Doctor Doom battle. Doom retreats, and Strange tosses a Darkhold into the astral plane for safekeeping. After this, Doom then goes to Khonshu in his divine space. He demands that Khonshu take the moon and slock it over the city so that he can become Eternal Knight. He does it to do vampire research. Khonshu banishes Doom, and then he sends Moon Knight to New York to prepare for the imminent vampire threat. Because we all know if Doctor Doom asks for something, he's not asking. He's telling you, and if you don't, he will find a way and make sure, which is what happens. And he does it in a way to where it doesn't use the dark hold. He goes to Dracula, has him help him, and he turns it into Eternal Night, which is what our season 1 is. So we're trying now. They gave us a platform of what all the season's supposed to be, and now we're getting what the I guess more information on each one of the battlefields. So the first one that we're going through is with the Empire of Eternal Night, which is present day what is happening. So during this time, whenever they're happening, Doctor Strange got locked into the Mirrorverse. He's lost in there. So during the gameplay, Doctor Strange astral projects himself to fight. That's why whenever he gets ability, he gets filled with darkness and he has to release it. That's what it is. So Dracula is now powered by the chronovium, which is a substance that has multiple forms. Mr. Fantastic has said that he's seen it in a different form. Iron Man has seen it in a different form. So now we know that chronovium is not only crystal, but it does have other forms. We'll touch on that later on. So Doctor Strange locked in the Mirrorverse. You have Dracula, who goes into Sanctum Sanctorum, and he casts a very powerful blood ritual that he locks the moon over New York, which is what the Doom was going to try to do for his studying. So now that this is happening, you have vampires infecting everyone in there, and then this is the very first start to the battlefront, or one of the realities that is battling out right now. So Miss Fantastic, Iron Man are teaming up. They're trying to make something what is known as Time Stream Reintegration Device, or the TRD. It's supposed to be able to fix the entanglement, but they need chronovium to power it. Like I said, chronovium is a new material. It's, as right now, the main source that they have, or the main appearance of it, is a crystal. That is what everyone has noticed it as, but like I said before, it can take different forms. So you have Cloak and Dagger, Moon Knight fighting vampires in the streets. Then they learn that Khonshu has a Darkhold, and he wants to use it as a Montesa formula to kill all vampires, even the innocent ones that are doing it. We all know Khonshu is a god, and gods to mortals, or mortals to gods, aren't as substance or has a hold as much to we are to each other. Mr. Fantastic and Cloak are against this, but Dagger and Iron Man have begun seriously considering it. Now, during this time, whenever the time stream entanglement happened, Cloak took Dagger into the dark world to, try to protect her for whenever it happened. Normal stuff. And because of this, whenever it happened, their bodies end up fusing, so they can't occupy the same space and time at the same time. So only one of them can be there at one time. So that's why during gameplay, you see them alternating between Cloak and alternating between Dagger. now is supposed to balance them out whenever. That's why they were so great at teams, where her light was able to balance his dark and his dark was able to balance her light. But because that they're kind of combined in one time, his darkness, which was stronger than her light, is now seeping into her light, and it is making her more rash, making her more unlike the benevolent self that she normally is. And that's one of the mental things that is happening. So introducing another front, which is happening in actually the 2099, you have Spider-Man is contacted by Spider Zero through a portal to come help protect the web of life and destiny. We're going to touch up that later on coming up and explain that what that reality is. He refuses, wants to stay in New York. So we have Human Torch, Blade, and Spider-Man are battling Dracula. Now Dracula is powered on his chronovium. He's able to mop the floor with all of them in a 3-on-1 fight, and he kidnaps Blade and flies off. So here we have an introduction that Human Torch is going to be here. We all both know, or everyone else knows, that the season for releasing characters is a two-part thing. For early on, we got Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, Invisible Girl. And the second part of it, which is towards the end of February, if I'm not mistaken, is they're going to release the other part of the Fantastic Four, where we get Human Torch and the Thing. So during this time, you have Dracula goes over to Isgard, which is the new version of Asgard, a different reality. We will explain that also, why it is new name. And he takes the Radaskor, which is a squirrel that is part of Yggdrasil. In Norse mythology, he goes there. He's supposed to take care of the tree and, be a messenger for the gods. So he goes in there and he takes her and her magic horn, which apparently is able to kill him. Squirrel Girl there is able to beat him and also gets abducted by Dracula. So he kidnaps her, Squirrel Girl, the Radaskar, and he keeps the horn because apparently that is something that can permanently kill him. So, he's planning for the future. Next, we have Krakoa. Now, Krakoa was in modern day, but whenever the time stream entanglement happened, it pulled it into the future. So that is why you have Magneto, Storm, and Wolverine, who is technically from the past, but they're now in 2099 through time travel. So, like I said earlier, Strange is locked away in his astral form in the mirror dimensions, and he starts going to different realities and trying to ask the Sorcerer Supremes for help. This is where I said Wanda and Magic are in unknown realities because we don't know where they came from. They're just now here. So as of right now, Wanda is a Sorcerer Supreme in a different universe, and she says she'll help. So she goes to Limbo and she grabs Magic. Now it doesn't say which time frame that this Magic is in, but this is the one that she comes to now, where she is involved with the 2099. So she gets there with Wolverine, and they head to Krakoa. And after they helped rescue a mutant child. Now, they don't really explain what, I guess, the mutant child is. He probably will be announced more often. If you guys know about it, leave a comment. Into Krakoa and Araka, which is the two islands where the mutants have been living and working and, prospering and whatnot. So whenever this happened, it caused the two islands to merge into one, and it gets thrown to the future. This is why they're in the future now. Storm ended up using her powers and abilities to not get it destroyed, and now there's a time storm that is wrecking onto this new island that they're only calling the Krakoa. So then they end up getting the group together, and Wanda uses her powers to enhance Cerebro. Now, for those of you who don't know mutant X-Men lore, Cerebro is the machine that Magneto and Professor X made to increase his mutant abilities, which allows him to literally reach and talk to any mutants through his telekinesis or telekinetic abilities to talk to anyone around the world. She powered it up to where he's able to go across multiverses. And he says with one single message, "To me, my X-Men." And then that's when we get other X mutants to join in, and this is where you get Namor and Psylocke. It doesn't tell which verse they come from, but they are now involved in the 29-9 battlefront. And then apparently there's something called a powerful space entity determined to burn out all darkness. Let me know who you guys think that this one is. Now we're in the second part of the future, which is still in 2099, but this is Tokyo. So over here we have Black Widow infiltrates Alchemex and discovers a frozen Captain America. Now this Captain America is not the one that we know. He's been frozen since World War II. He hasn't been defrosted. There's now a part of the Avengers. There's none of that in this time frame that happened. He wasn't there. So now they end up doing that. He gets saved by Wolverine. Wolverine brings him Wakanda. Now, in the future of 2099, Wakanda is a intergalactic empire. We'll explain a little bit more of that when we get to that. During this time, Black Widow goes and she tracks down the Punisher, who's in Tokyo, damaging things to try, putting people like he's supposed to, and they're trying to get his help. The next one is we have Penny Parker, Web of Life, and is in Tokyo protecting the Web of Life and Destiny from Doom of 2099. So that's how he's trying to do his time control is through the Web of Destiny and Life, and then the one in the past was doing it through vampire magic. They both try to do it. They ended up not doing it right. That's where they both combined and did this crazy, or they didn't combine. They did their efforts collided and it messed up the multiverse, and we got this time stream entanglement. So she has friends, Master Weaver, Spider Zero. Their conflict over how to do it. So Master Weaver banishes them, and Zero sends a message through time to recruit other Spider-Mans. That's where the Spider-Man from present day got the message, and he denied trying to do it to try to stay and help his New York from the Eternal Darkness. And this is where they start getting another Spider team to come and happen. So also 2099, you have the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. Now, how this apparently happened, apparently there was a spaceship, and he's in the same universe as the Guardians and Venom. Venom may not have originated, but it's because he was sent forward in time for a long period, and he served in the Oculate Wars. So that's why he travels back in time to try to stop the war from happening and trying to either destroy Null or absorb his powers. We'll get more into that later on. Let's see. So for Black Panther, it was that there was a hold on, let me try to I'm looking at my notes real quick. I apologize for this. This is my first time doing a lower video, trying to put everything together, and we're doing with it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Try to get this work. Any tips that might be better, let's deal with this. So this T'Challa is actually from the present day. Let me backtrack. In the comics, the Empire of Wakanda is set in the present. Okay, it's not really from the 29-9. What happened was T'Challa sends a spaceship into a wormhole, and it basically goes to a far galaxy, but it goes to the past. And because they spend centuries, and then they spent centuries, creating what is known as the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. And after he thought they left, he goes and he leaves to try to find them, and then he ends up going to the past. So this one that was technically here is literally from the future that goes to the past, now catches up, and this is why we have the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. He ends up losing his memory, so he always thinks that he was from the past, but he's really from the future. He overthrows the Emperor of the past, and that's kind of how he founded it. It's a little bit janky of how it happened, but that's how I guess that they became this intergalactic. I think that's what it was saying. If I made a mistake, like I said before, leave a comment. So T'Challa and his sister Zuri, they met. They are trying to figure out how to fix their time stream entanglement. Now on Wakanda, everyone knows they have what is known as vibranium. It is one of the most powerful, sought after, valuable mineral ever because of the capabilities it has, being so strong, so dense, but it's able to like be used in everything. The chronovium has mixed in with the vibranium, and they got this new material called vibranochronovium, and it manifested in the vibranium star, which is at the heart of the empire. So, like that thing that is at the center of them, where all the vibranium's at, where it grows from this, they now have vibranium chronovium, which is mixing it. So, Juri, being the scientific person of she is, she wants to use this to help Miss Fantastic's TRD. T'Challa's against it because one, Iron Man's involved, and anytime Iron Man's involved, he never really thinks about what the outcome is going to be. It's more of I'm gonna do what best I think can happen in that time. So he's kind of against it, and he's also in a his own little personal battle because his pantheon of gods are corrupted by the King in Black. And for those who don't know, King in Black is Null. So he's trying to get his Panther goddess Bast to try to uncorrupt her because as of right now, the whole pantheon is corrupted. He has got confirmation from Bast's sister, and they're trying to figure out how to fix it. So while he's also doing that, he's trying to battle the Dooms, both of the Dooms on a different front. So he's trying to get a team together. And that's why earlier when you saw Black Widow went and brought Captain America to, was trying to bring her to Wakanda. And there's also Wolverine was there because Wolverine was there helping him out. So at Wakanda, you have now Captain America, Hawkeye, and Winter Soldier, who was being experimented on in a Hydra base called Hell's Heaven. Now they were putting a ritual with him, which from a Eldritch god's power. Now he ended up, because of the time stream entanglement, the Eldritch god's power started overtaking him, and it was turning him back into the Winter Soldier, not Bucky, to where he started attacking everybody. He started making these tentacles come out of his arm, and it was just very, very dangerous for everyone that was happening there. So what the so the next thing that is going is they explain that you can reset his arm, and because it's connected to his cerebral cortex or somewhere around where it's connected to his brain to help him control the arm, that it'll reset his brain and he might be able to come back to normal. So Hawkeye, Captain America battled it out. They managed to put him down and they resetted him, but he still had this God's awakened powers, and that's where we get that Kraken impact where he jumps in the air and throws out a whole bunch of tentacles come out. They look like crazy tentacles. Yeah, that's where that comes from. So the next one we have is the next reality is on Clintar. Now, Clintar is a celestial that was killed by the All Black, the Necrosword, which is Null's weapon. Which is, if you've seen the Thor, the third movie of the Thor, the sword that what his name Gore had, which was supposed to be a weapon that's able to kill gods. That's what that was supposed to be. It's a sword that could kill gods, and that's what Null's is, and that's one of the reasons why Null was entrapped and locked on Clintar, so he can't go around trying to take over the universe and world like he was trying to. So after they find out that their goddess Bast, Shuri, and T'Challa have figured out that their pantheon is being controlled by this darkness and it's radiating from Clintar, they send the Guardians of the Galaxies to go there. Their ship crashes down and they're getting assaulted. So as right now, Guardians of the Galaxy only include Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. The other two or the other three are not there, which was Mantis is not part of it, Drax is not mentioned, or Gamora have not been mentioned. Hopefully they might be added in later on, and we'll see what these characters can do. So Star-Lord and Rocket are fighting against hordes, and Groot's making friends with the symbioted plants on the surface. So Adam Warlock is in his sleep, which was he was erred on by Odin to take the sleep to rest to get his powers and everything like that. While Odin is in his other one. We're going to talk about that also. So Venom are both, like I said, these guys are from Venom is from the future who goes back to the past to try to stop uh, Noel from taking over. He ends up using Magic's disc to teleport to Clintar. They ended up meeting. Adam Warlock and Venom meet up. They join forces and they're trying to take down Noel and find the sword, which is, like I said, is used to kill gods, and was used to kill the Celestial, which is what Clintar is. So now we're in another field, which is known as Isgard. Now, this used to be Asgard. Now, Time Stream Entanglement, Loki, if you watch the season 2, he fused with Yggdrasil, which is the tree of life, which is, it literally connects all the 9 realms together, and he fuses with the tree, which allows him to look through all of the realms and all everything like that. Now, this is where I was talking about where the Chronovium is able to take on different forms. Over here, it takes on a liquid form when it in the Yggdrasil absorbs it, and it's now in the sap. So while he's using the sap, he's learned that he's able to see different futures. So he's pulling a Doctor Strange from Endgame, and he's looking at alternate realities and futures and figuring out what's going to happen with Asgard. But he finds out that Asgard is literally destroyed in everyone he looks, except for this one where he is king. So what he does is he talks to Hela and he says, listen, I want you to help me become king. She agrees only after learning that she can use the power of Chronovium to get stronger and power her and her warriors up, which is what they did to overthrow Thor and increase her hold on other realms instead of just hell. So they get Odin, they get Odin to his Odin sleep, and they get rid of Thor and they send Thor off to somewhere else. So now Loki takes over Asgard and now becomes Isgard, and that's why it is named from that. So into another area, we have all this extra people. So you have Bruce Banner, who is known as Hulk. He makes this thing that's called a gamer belt, which is why you in the game you see him able to has 3 different forms. You have Bruce Banner, you have Hulk, and you have Monster Hulk. The gamer belt is supposedly supposed to control how much gamma is introduced into his body. So he's able to control how much Hulk is there. And then whenever he's infused a whole bunch of it, which is where you get Monster Hulk, turns into this very aggressive, just damaging person. Well, he's out in the desert practicing this, and this Thor gets thrown in there, and now they're there, and they fight a little bit. You know how Thor and Hulk always just go head to head, great fights, and now they're trying to figure out what's supposed to happen. Then you have Iron Fist. His name is Lin Lee, and he breaks the sword and he gets fused with it. He becomes the new Iron Fist. So he's apprenticed under the Prince of Orphans. We don't know exactly where, like I said, where he's from, what reality he's from, but he's just coming here now. Another reason why we get the other characters, you have Jeff, Mantis, and Psylocke. These are from different universes and whatever. Whenever the time stream happens, they got messed up with their time frame and was put in the collector's museum. There was a second Mantis. They got put in a cage fight. Another Mantis sacrificed herself to let the other one escape, and then they ended up breaking out and started becoming together. So she was going to go and join her Guardians of the Galaxy, what she thought was from hers, but in her universe, she's not part of it. So this is where she's going to join them, and she knows that they're on Clintar. So she's going to join them, and she brought Jeff with her. this is also time when Psylocke received the message from Magneto's cerebro power message, and that's where they start linking into where they go through. Last but not least, you have Jeju Island. This is where Luna is. She's doing a concert or whatever. And Namor, one of the monsters, is attacking. She ends up healing it, become nice. Namor shows up. He thanks him, but still says he's going to conquer the island and everything. She shrugs it off, goes off whatever doing. And that's when she also receives the message from Magneto, and then they get grouped together. So as of right now, this is where it stands of what is happening. We're going to be picking up more of for season 1, and we're going to be adding more to this lore. But as of right now, this is great. I want to again thank Apricotamon for this, as it is fantastic work that he did to put all this together. If you guys want to check him out, it was off on Reddit. It's underneath the Marvel Rivals tab. And go through. If there's any mistakes or I missed anything or things you want to add, please leave a comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, as this will be added on to more videos. I will catch